All right, let's just jump right in. Have you ever had that feeling, that sinking feeling when you're talking to a doctor about your own body, your own health, and you just know you're not really being heard? Well, today we're going to unpack a powerful new framework that finally gives a name, a structure, and real value to the expertise that you hold as a patient.
So, let's start at the beginning. What exactly is going on when the one person who knows your body best, and that's you, feels like their knowledge is just being pushed to the side? I mean, has this ever happened to you? You're sitting in a doctor's office, you're trying your best to explain a symptom, a side effect, or maybe just a gut feeling, and you can just tell that what you're saying is being filtered or minimized or, just flat out dismissed. Yeah. If that sounds familiar, I want you to know you're not imagining things. You're not being too sensitive. You are putting your finger on a very real, recognized issue in healthcare, and it actually has a name. And that name is epistemic injustice. It sounds complicated, but it's a really powerful idea. Basically, it means that your knowledge, your testimony about your own life and your own body is unfairly devalued. The research we're digging into today says this gives a patient's story a deflated level of credibility. It's the official term for that incredibly frustrating feeling of being ignored. Okay, so why? Why does this happen so much? Why is it so easy for this incredibly important knowledge to get overlooked? Well, a huge part of the problem actually lies in the words we use. And here's the thing. We often talk about having experiential knowledge, right? But that term, it's a bit of a trap. It's just so vague, so broad. And because it's fuzzy, it's really easy for others, and hey, sometimes even for ourselves, to just brush it off as a subjective feeling instead of what it truly is: genuine, hard-won expertise. This really shows the shift we need to make. On one side, you've got the old way of thinking, this big, fuzzy cloud called experiential knowledge. It's hard to pin down. But on the other side, we have this new framework that breaks that cloud down into 6 specific, clear, actionable types of knowledge. We're moving from a vague idea to a tangible, valuable asset. All right, so let's get into the good stuff. This is the new framework. This is how we can start to build a whole new way of understanding what it means to be an expert in your own health. And here it is. This is the core visual from the research by Dumez and L'Espérance. You can see it's kind of like a map of the mind, broken down into these 6 interconnected types of knowledge. This isn't just a simple list. It is a full-blown map of patient expertise. And what's really fascinating is where all this expertise comes from. The researchers found it comes from 3 main sources. First, there's the knowledge you get from yourself, literally from inside your own body and mind. Then you've got the knowledge you get from dealing with the healthcare system. And finally, there's the knowledge that comes from your community, your family, your friends, the people in your corner. Okay, let's break these down one by one. First up, you've got embodied knowledge. This is that deep physical wisdom. The feeling that something is just off, that no lab test can ever measure. It's in your bones. Next is monitoring knowledge. This is the day-to-day grind, the practical skill of tracking your symptoms, managing medications, knowing the rhythm of your condition because you are living it 24/7. Then there's navigation knowledge. Oh man, this is the hard-won expertise in getting through the absolute maze of the healthcare system, knowing who to call, what forms you need, how to get an appointment. Then you develop medical knowledge. You start learning the lingo, you read the studies, you actually understand the science of your condition, a lot of times just so you can fight for yourself. And there's relational knowledge. This is all about knowing your support system. Who can you count on? How do you communicate what you need? And finally, there's cultural knowledge. This is about understanding how your personal values, your background, your entire worldview shapes how you approach your health. I mean, when you see them all laid out like this, you just realize, wow, that is an incredible amount of expertise. So, okay, we've got these 6 types of knowledge, but what's the point? What's the real-world impact of looking at it this way? Well, it's about flipping the entire script on how care is delivered. And this is exactly why this framework is such a game changer. It's not just theory. It gives you, the patient, the specific language to say, look, I have navigation knowledge instead of just, I have some experience. It helps create a two-way street where doctors and nurses can actually learn from patients. And here's the big one. It transforms the patient from being just a passive person receiving care into an active, crucial partner in their own care. And really, this is the ultimate goal. The researchers put it perfectly. By actually defining and valuing these 6 types of knowledge, we can start to rebalance the power relationship in healthcare. It's a direct challenge to a system that for a long time has just undervalued what patients bring to the table. So let's just leave it with this thought. Just imagine for a second, what would healthcare look like? How would our appointments, our conversations, even our health outcomes change if we all started from the assumption that every single patient walks in the door as a six-fold expert? And of course, we have to give full credit where it's due for this incredible idea. This whole framework comes from some amazing research published by Vincent Dumez and Audrey L'Esperance in the journal Social Theory and Health. We'll always make sure to link to the work that inspires these explainers. So now I really want to hear from you. Looking at that list of 6 types again: embodied, monitoring, navigation, medical, relational, and cultural. Which one of those just jumps out at you? Which one of you use the most? Please share your story in the comments below. And hey, if this framework gave you a new way to think about your own expertise, maybe a new sense of validation, let us know by hitting that like button. And make sure you subscribe so you don't miss more deep dives like this. And one last thing, let us know what we should break down next. Seriously, your suggestions in the comments are what drive this whole channel. Thanks so much for being here.